This is Marcus Corval with Studio MMA and MMA Net, and we're here with Javier Mendez, the head coach from AKA. We saw you last week. First of all, how's Cain doing, Cain Velasquez?
Cain is doing great. He's doing better than we are.
Is he back in the gym already? No,
he's not back in the gym. Actually, no, that's a lie. He came back in the gym yesterday to do a little jogging just to show up to the gym, yeah. Nice.
You have a great team with a high level of top level fighters as well. From you have Danny Cormier's in there, top wrestling, Cain Velasquez, and for this show you got Cung Le, who's been training with you guys. King Mo's been up with you guys as well, I believe, correct? Correct. And Cal Kingsbury, who's fighting Stephan Bonner on Saturday. How is it as a head coach? Do you have time for everyone?
No, actually I don't. With Cung Le, I've had to share the responsibilities with one of my coaches, Gary Owens. So Gary's been extremely helpful with me with Cung. So he's been helping me with Cung, and then with Kyle Kingsbury, I have Weezy. He's been helping with Kyle. So I don't have time for everybody. So I have great coaches that help me.
You got Josh Koscheck, who's fighting soon as well, and AK is known as one of the top gyms in the country, which means top gym in the world. What is it that? How did you get started in this game?
Well, I basically got started. I was a kickboxing world champion in 1992, ISKA, light cruiserweight, and then in '95 I won the light heavyweight world title, ISKA, and then from that point, I met certain people that wanted to fight. I took them in the fight arena, and I met a student that came in to me named Brian Johnston. He's trained with me. We got him involved in MMA, and from there I met Frank Shamrock. Then Frank Shamrock came train with me, and from there BJ Penn, and pretty much the rest from there is history.
So coming from a stand-up background, kickboxing, how much of the ground game do you understand at this point? Do you train yourself in jiu-jitsu, the wrestling part?
No, I don't. When I retired, I burned out on training. But I understand the game of wrestling. I understand the jiu-jitsu game. I understand the fight game. I understand the fight game to a T. So it doesn't matter that I don't know the moves. I get you somebody that knows the moves. Like I look at it like Henry Ford. He wasn't the mastermind that built the cars, but he knew the right people to put in place. And I take that mentality. I'll put the right people in the place that needs to be done for the job to get done.
You tend to have a lot of wrestlers coming to you. You have, obviously, America is known for its wrestling, but from Josh Koscheck to Cain Velasquez, and you turn these, pedigree wrestlers into real kickboxers. What's the main issue with teaching a wrestler to become a stand-up fighter?
Well, the main issue, really, there isn't really none. And occasionally we get a few that are not used to getting contact, but I got to thank Dwayne Zinkin from the management company that he brought us in all these top wrestlers because he's related to the wrestling community. So he brought us Cain Velasquez, Josh Koscheck, Dan Cormier. Dwayne Zinkin brought us everybody. So the partnership with myself and Dwayne Zinkin and Crazy Bob Cook has been fantastic. But the teaching of these guys has been easy. Like even when Phil Davis is part of Dwayne Zinkin's crew, but he trains with Alliance. But these guys come in, they're great athletes, they got the great mindset, they're champions already in their arena, and they come in with that work attitude. And when you got that work attitude, these guys will stop at nothing to get better in every discipline that they need.
Wrestlers are known sometimes for being kind of there can be kind of like bullying in the mentality and ways. I'm sure at this point you obviously gained enough respect not just in your gym but in the mixed martial art community. Has there been any guys at the moment that stands up where like you almost had to go in there and show them like, look, this is how it's supposed to be?
No, I never had to do that. The only guy I've ever had that was Frank Shamrock back in the day.
Surprisingly.
Frank was the only one. I had to go in there and box with him. But Frank and I love him to death. Frank and I are great friends. But Frank's the only one I had to go, okay, Frank, let's put the gloves on then. Let's do it. And so him and I, it was just boxing. But he understood who the better boxer was right then and there. But, that was just with Frank, no one else.
That's a very diplomatic way of putting it. He understood right there and then what it was all about. Last Saturday, obviously a huge event, and the first time that UFC was on Fox with Cain Velasquez. Did you see any differences in the production behind the scenes at all?
No, I mean the UFC's done a fantastic job of making sure that Cain wasn't overloaded with media. I mean, he got more media than normal, but that's to be expected when you're fighting in the biggest fight, in the history of the UFC. So you got to take the responsibilities that you're going to have more media. So there wasn't really that much pressure in regards to media. It was nice. We knew what we were supposed to do, and he went out and did it, and it was fine.
So from being a stand-up coach, but obviously been in the game of mixed martial arts, an honest answer, a great boxing fight or a great kickboxing fight or a great MMA fight?
You know, I was originally, I was started as a kickboxer, and I love kickboxing, but I always loved boxing. I love boxing. I was a fan of boxing. MMA came into the world, and almost instinctively I became a big fan of MMA, because to me it's like everybody else is playing checkers. MMA, they're playing chess, and I love chess.
I agree. I love chess as well. Talk about chess. Saturday night's fight after Cain fought Juan Manuel Marquez for Manny Pacquiao. Did you see that fight first of all?
No, I didn't see the fight. I heard it was a close fight, and to be honest with you, I didn't even follow the second fight because I heard the second fight was a split decision. I thought Manny kicked his butt, but I guess the second fight he didn't. So I'm not really a good judge of that, and that's how bad it's been for me with boxing. I don't follow it anymore.
I agree, and I think a lot of people are having difficulties judging that fight. It seems like people that are watching on TV saw a certain fight versus people that were in the arena. Do you feel that the judging in mixed martial arts is better than that of boxing?
I 100% feel that in MMA the judging is better. I watched boxing my whole life, and yeah, in MMA there's times where, like Dana says, don't leave it in the judge's hands. He's 100% correct, and if you leave it in the judge's hands, you better make sure without a doubt that you had that victory. Otherwise, it's up in the air. And there's been some bad calls in MMA too, and that's expected. But as a whole, I see 10 times more bad decisions in boxing than I do in MMA.
And what do you think that is?
I don't know. It's not that, maybe boxing's harder to judge. I'm not sure, because it's the same judges. It's the athletic commissions that run them. So it's not that the judges are bad per se. I don't know. I have no idea.
So having someone like Cung Le, who's a very different style, which is still, you come from a kickboxing background, you understand it, but finding someone, a legend in the sport such as Wanderlei Silva with this Muay Thai, how do you prepare for someone like Wanderlei Silva?
Well, Wanderlei's got a certain style, and he doesn't change what he does. I mean, he's somewhat reckless, but somewhat very powerful and explosive, and he's got holes in his game, and we just got to pick the holes, and that's what we're working on the holes that he's going to leave for us to exploit. He's good everywhere. He's good on the ground. He's good in stand-up. Wanderlei's good everywhere. Let's face it. Everybody knows his chin is a little tested. And we're hoping that we can get an opportunity to test that chin again and see what happens.
And for people that are up here in San Jose, want to come in and see the gym or train with you guys, how do they find you?
We're at 7012 Realm Drive, and I also have another one at 1791 Hillsdale Avenue, and you can come by anytime. We're always open. If you're in that neighborhood, just show up.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you guys on Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks.